to our hearts. We saw slams and rejections. Some coaches found answers, while others are still looking. We saw some fans of all ages, shapes, and sizes. The last-second drama. And the surprises. The tension. The relief. And the disappointment. As everyone searches for tickets to the big dance. Today, the excitement continues. The march is on. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Brando, and welcome to ESPN. And only here, a week can last 9 days. But it has been an eventful one, hasn't it? Championship week has brought forth 21 teams into the NCAA tournament field of 64. 18 of those have been decided right here on ESPN. 4 more of those will be decided today. 25 cities we've been to. We'll be focusing today on cities like Toledo, Ohio, where in just a few moments, it's the Mid-American Conference Championship. Top-seeded Ball State is moving on. And then we'll be taking you to Columbia, South Carolina for the Metro Conference Championship. Louisville meeting top-seeded Florida State at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, some parts of the country during that time period will be seeing the Southwest Conference Championship game. Texas taking on Arkansas, the 2 top seeds there. Then, after a quick break, we'll get you back to the Baton Rouge, Louisiana for the Texas Southern game. That will be an automatic bid in the SWAC Conference. Then, it's back to Atlanta for the ACC Championship game. Same-day coverage of North Carolina and Duke, midnight Eastern Time. All of that coming your way on a very eventful day. And, of course, the bids are coming out today. All of the at-large entries are coming out on Championship Week on our selection show that we'll have for you with John Saunders and Dick Vitale at 6 o'clock. As we mentioned, though, we've got first things first in Toledo, Ohio. It's the Mid-American Conference Championship game. The Ball State Cardinals in the top 20 figure to be in. Kent State would love to get there. Gary Sparber and John Albright.
Thank you, Tim. It's been a banner year for the Mid-American Conference. Ball State has been nationally ranked, and with Kent State having a big year, the MAC could send 2 teams to the NCAA tournament before this day is done. Hi again, everybody. Gary Sparber along with John Albright. We've got 2 teams in Ball State and Kent State, of each won 20 games. They both, of course, want to win the Mid-American Conference Championship, but for somewhat different reasons.
That's right, Gary. Ball State, they won the regular season. There's really no pressure on them to win this. They're going to go to the NCAA tournament, but they want to win because of the seeding. They want the higher seeded situation. Now, Kent State, on the other hand, they've got to win. They've never been to the NCAA tournament. This will be a first for them. It'll be a great situation for the MAC to get 2 teams to the NCAA tournament.
Now, Kent State has already lost to Ball State twice this season, so the keys to winning for the Golden Flashes?
Well, for Kent State to win, they've got to do a good job rebounding. And the reason they got to do that, they've got to do a good job on the defensive boards to get the transition game going. They want a full court situation. The other key for them is offensive execution. Kent State is 18-0 and they shoot 48% or more.
And on the other side for Ball State, I guess they want to do what they did in the 2 wins.
Ball State is a very physical team. They want to control the board. They want a half-court situation. And you see the second key, possession. Now, the interesting thing about Ball State, Gary, they've only got 1 starter that shoots 50% or more. So possessions are the key for them. If you're 50% on possessions, then it's not as important percentage-wise what you shoot from the field.
Now, you've heard the expression, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Both these teams have had excellent seasons, but they've done it in very different ways.
They certainly have. Ball State, they're a very physical team. They like to do it in a half-court situation. Kent State, on the other hand, they're a finesse team. If you look at them, you're not impressed, but collectively, they do a very good job of working cohesively together.
And an incredible job by Rick Majerus to put this Ball State team together.
Well, he never believed they'd be this good, and they had an outstanding season.
Well, we've got Ball State and Kent State. They're going to find out later today if they're going to the NCAA tournament. Ball State thinks they are either way. Back with the opening lineups and the tap after this. Welcome back to John F. Savage Hall, the Mid-American Conference Championship. Gary Sparber along with John Albright. Right now for the introductions of the starting lineups, let's send it to public address announcer Mike Scott.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our starting lineups for today's Mid-American Conference Championship game. At the forward position for Kent State from Warren, Ohio, a junior, 6'7", number 34, Rick Blevins. At forward for Ball State from Spencer, Indiana, a junior, 6'5", number 33, Sean Parrish. At forward for Kent State from Akron, Ohio, a junior, 6'3", number 52, Eric Glenn. At forward for Ball State from Detroit, Michigan, a junior, 6'7", number 42, Paris McCurdy. At the center post, first for Kent State from Canfield, Ohio, a senior, 6'6", number 54, Jim Mangapora. At center for the Cardinals from Detroit, Michigan, a junior, 6'9", number 44, Curtis Kidd. At guard for the Flashes from East Cleveland, Ohio, a senior, 6 foot, number 20, Reggie Adams. From Muncie, Indiana, a junior, 6'3", number 30, Billy Butts. At guard for Kent State from Lorain, Ohio, a freshman, 6'1", number 24, Harold Walton. And at the guard position for Ball State from Detroit, Michigan, a junior, 6'1", number 20, Scott Nichols. The coach for Kent State, Mr. Jim McDonald, and coaching for the Cardinals of Ball State, Mr. Rick Majerus.
Kent State has never been to the NCAA tournament. They have been to the MAC Conference Finals twice before, never made it all the way. They'll try to do that. It would mean so much for Coach Jim McDonald, who is a longtime assistant right here in Toledo to Bobby Nichols. So, set to go, Ball State and Kent State from here in Toledo. And we'll come back with the opening tap, I should say, right after this break. Well, Ball State, nobody's done better in America this year as far as wins and losses are concerned. Kent State, they've won 5 in a row, and they absolutely blew out the University of Toledo here on Toledo's home court, John.
It's been the disadvantage of the MAC all year long. Going into the last week of the regular season, the visiting team had won more games than the home team.
So we'll see Jim Mangapora jump it up for Kent State. And he goes against a very good jumper, Curtis Kidd, for Ball State. Ball State favored, have only lost 2 all year. And as so often happens in these championship games, both jumpers a little nervous. Nobody really got it, but Kent State's got the ball.
Ball State's going to open up in man-to-man. They're a very defensive-minded team, among the nation's leaders in the defensive categories. They want to try to take Kent State out of their offense defensively.
Kent State, not a team that will impress you with the way they look, but they get the job done. Rick Blevins, this is Mangapora.
That little play right there really did a good job. That time, Blevins just made a nice pass down low to Mangapora, who is wide open. Fundamentally, Kent State is very sound.
Scott Nichols, the point guard, and Ball State swinging it around. They'd like to knock it down inside.
Kent State's going to open up in a zone defense, try to offset some of that inside strength for Ball State.
Three-point chance for Billy Butts would not go. Curtis Kidd right up off the baseline, and Mangapora almost had his first rebound, taken right away by Paris McCurdy. You don't think these teams are a little tight?
Right off the bat, you see the possessions. We talked about it in the open. A key for Ball State was possessions. That time, Ball State had 4 opportunities. They played volleyball with it. You're going to see a nice move down low by McCurdy. Just stays with it, keeps it alive. Ball State still battling. Puts the shot up, and you're going to see the foul down low. As his partner down low, Kidd, goes up and he's fouled. But the key again is possession. That time, Ball State had 4 opportunities, and they'll get a chance at the free throw line.
Foul was on Reggie Adams, his first and the first on the team. And Curtis Kidd puts the first points on the board for Ball State. In the 2 meetings this year, each team has gotten off to a fast start. Ball State got off quickly on their home court. Kent State got off quickly on theirs, but was unable to hold the lead.
Kent State was worn down in the latter part of the first half. This is a big physical Ball State team, and they can wear you down.
Just about a minute gone by. We're tied at 2. And this is Reggie Adams leading the way for the Golden Flashes.
Adams an all-conference selection. He's a key for their offense. Great penetrator, also a good scorer.
Eric Glenn.
Kent State, a lot of motion, a lot of picks away from the basketball. They're not an individual team. Most of their offenses are going to come off either the transition or set plays in the half-court situation.
Glenn with the ball, down to 15 on the shot clock. Kent State is a very patient team. This is their best shooter, Rick Blevins.
Nice move that time. Blevins with a little pump fake. Ball State went for it. You see what a good shooter he is. He has good range.
Kent State stays in that zone. Scott Nichols feeding the post. That's what they want to do, and Curtis Kidd gets the bucket.
That's one of the weaknesses against that 2-3 zone, is that pass to the interior like that. And if Kidd can hit that shot, he'll force Kent State to play a little more honest. They won't be able to pack it in.
Mangapura. Reggie Adams. And Harold Walton lost it on the way down, and it's Ball State ball.
So right there, Ball State chose not to push it up and down. They will run if it's there, but they'd much rather play in the half-court situation.
They can pack that zone in because Scott Nichols with the ball now is not a shooter at the point guard spot.
Well, that's what you do. You force Butts and Nichols to take those outside shots. Parrish over there on the wing, he's also a good outside shooter, but you make Ball State earn it.
Sean Parrish, the jumper by Billy Butts wouldn't go. He's a transfer from the University of Michigan, and here comes Kent State.
Kent State with a nice job that time of blocking out, limited Ball State to one opportunity that trip down court.
Reggie Adams, one of the more disciplined teams you're going to see, Kent State. Coach Jim McDonald says he is a John Wooden disciple, and that tells you a lot. And Walton able to score. Harold Walton, true freshman out of Lorain, Ohio.
That time Walton came off the set offense, off a screen, wide open, and you saw the nice execution that time by Kent State.
3 minutes gone by. For confidence sake, I think a big start is much more important to Kent State.
No question about it. They've got to get it involved in the game early on. Nice defensive play that time by Blevins, but they want to get the lead and dictate the tempo, make Ball State play to their pace rather than vice versa.
Jim McDonald told us this morning, the Kent State coach, he needs some help from Ball State. Needs Ball State not to play their best game if his team is to win.
You don't think that was a typical coach's remark? You know they're confident.
You know, I think he was serious. Really do. Reggie Adams beating Mangapura. Blevins, their best pure shooter, but lost the ball. Billy Butts. He's from Muncie, Indiana, where Ball State is located.
Kent State has changed their defense up there now in a man-to-man, going to give Ball State a different look.
That one was way off, obviously. Sean Parrish couldn't get it to go, and Scott Nichols says, let me reset this thing with a new 45-second clock.
Nichols also recognized the change in defense and called their man-to-man offense. Nice job by Nichols.
Parrish to Billy Butts. Feeding it inside. And a nice shot by Paris McCurdy.
That time McCurdy did an excellent job of posting up down low, sealed the defensive man off and made the shot.
Paris McCurdy and Curtis Kidd went to high school together in Detroit. They went to college together at the University of Arkansas Little Rock, and they transferred together. Wonder what they'll do after this. Tough to make the same NBA team. Eric Glenn lost it on the way up, but he was fouled. And the foul is going to go against Curtis Kidd.
Kidd caught for reaching in that time on Eric Glenn, got the ball down low, and Kidd was called for the foul. Gonna get a good look at it from up high. Nice entry pass by Blevins. See Kidd reaching down right there, helping down on McCurdy. Reached in and caught Glenn.
Eric Glenn, a 79% free throw shooter. And it's trite to say it, but if you're Kent State, the underdog that has to play discipline, you got to hit your free throws. That's a big part of it.
And they are a very good free throw shooting team. They're averaging 78% as a team.
Glenn able to survive your jinx of saying that. And he'll get one more. From Akron Central Howard, one of the real high school basketball powers in a state where high school basketball is very, very big. 15-16 left first half. Good start for the Kent State Golden Flashes. We said they had to get off well early, and they're up by 2. By 2, 8-6. Almost 5 minutes gone by here at Savage Hall in Toledo. Gary Sparber along with John Albright.
Early on, Kent State shooting 100% from the floor. 3 out of 3. Ball State only at 28%, 2 out of 7. Kent State now in a 2-2-1, three-quarter court press. This is a containment press. If you beat it, you're already back defensively, so there's not a lot of risk in the 2-2-1 three-quarter.
Scott Nichols with the ball. This is Billy Butts. Probing the zone. They want to go inside to McCurdy or Curtis Kidd.
Kent State doing a nice job of switching up their defenses, and that time Butts goes from three-point line. That'll get you out of the zone in a hurry.
And that is no fluke. Billy Butts will shoot it for about 40% from there. He is a good three-point shooter. Ball State by 1. This is Mangapura. Harold Walton.
Blevins really likes to give you that ball fake, try to make you leave your feet.
They do the little things very, very well, but the shot did not go down for Mangapura. Foul's going to be against Kent State, and Curtis Kidd was the aggrieved party. Mangapura picks it up. His first personal foul, and that's number 2 against Kent State.
One of the few times we've seen Ball State run with a basketball. You see Kent State head coach Jim McDonald had an outstanding year for Kent State.
Billy Butts went to Michigan, looked around at the talent beside him and said, wait a minute, I better go home. And he did to Muncie, Indiana, as the shot is missed by Paris McCurdy, and back comes Kent State.
Good shots for Ball State. They're just not dropping early on.
Kent State wanting to execute on every play. Eric Glenn. And Glenn gives Kent State the lead by 1.
Kent State shot the ball extremely well last night against host Toledo and just ran away with the ball game, and that hot shooting has continued over to today.
Championship week wrapping up here on ESPN. The pairings tonight between 6 and 6:30 with John Saunders and Dick Vitale.
Kent State in a 2-1-2 zone. They're extending it out a little bit further than early on. Butts hit the three-pointer, loosened it up a little bit.
Greg Miller in the ball game, number 31 for Ball State. This is Miller getting the ball with a really heavy knee brace on his right leg. They told us he's okay right before the ball game to go.
Rick Majerus really said he's a tough kid, really could have chosen to hang it up, get the surgery early on, yet he's gutted it out. And he shows you he can still put it up and in.
Miller gutted it out to the tune of 3 points right there. He's a 35% three-point shooter. Unusual for a big guy like that, and Ball State's on top by 2. 7 minutes gone by first half.
When you play a team like Kent State that does a lot of motion, a lot of picks away from the basketball, Ball State switches. From a defensive standpoint, you really have to communicate and let one another know when you change. If you don't, you're going to mess up on an assignment. They're going to get an easy layup.
Ball State really denying on the inside. They do get it in, though, to Walton. And Glenn has got a three-pointer on the air. Or in the air, I should say. We're on the air. He's got the 3 points. Kent State by 1, and they're back now in that 2-3 zone.
Saw a good look there at Ball State head coach Rick Majerus.
Scott Nichols.
Nichols is a good point guard, but he doesn't like to shoot it much. Instead, he'll get it over to Butts, who fills it up again.
Another three-pointer for Billy Butts.
Now, if they can continue to hit those three-point shots like that, what that'll do, Kent State will have to either get out of the zone or they'll extend it, and that'll bring McKidd and McCurdy open down low.
Mangapura with it. This is Rick Blevins. Had a good idea, but too many big bodies in the way. 11:44 to go first half. Ball State 15, Kent State 13. It's been nip and tuck from Toledo. We'll be back. John Albright, Savage Hall in Toledo, Ohio, the Mid-American Conference Championship. And right now it's 15-13, Ball State on top by 2. And look at that brace on Greg Miller's leg. 6'8" junior from Yorktown, Indiana for Ball State.
Miller playing with a lot of pain, but yet he's chosen to be out there with his teammates.
Not the game anybody wants to sit out.
Both teams shooting well. Ball State's worn up. They're shooting 55%, including 3 out of 4 from three-point range, and Kent State a sizzling 83% from the floor.
Reggie Adams, Mangapura. Tough man-to-man here by Ball State. Down to 3 on the shot clock. Got to shoot it now. And how about Mangapura? A three-pointer for Jim Mangapura, who had shot 1 all year and did not hit it.
I guess Mangapore didn't want to feel left out. Everybody else shooting the basketball extremely well, and he certainly joins that club. Good defense that time for Ball State. That's the shot you wanted to put up. That time they hit it.
He saw 1 on the shot clock and said, well, I got no choice. At the other end, the roll goes to Curtis Kidd.
There's the play right there that shooting well from the outside does. That time Kidd was open down low because the defense had to extend out, and he hit the shot.
Ball State comes up with a turnover, Curtis Kidd, and here comes Billy Butts.
That's the first poor shot Kent State has taken of the game.
They won't take many if they're going to win today, that's for sure. Shot would not quite go down for Roman Muller, 7'1" junior out of Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. Transfer from Ellsworth Junior College in Iowa, but more importantly, the foul on Mangapore. They can't afford too many of those. David Barnwell comes on, 6'9" junior out of Oxford, Michigan, and they get Mangapore out of there. His second personal foul, and they're going to protect him, Jim McDonald will, with the 2 fouls. Mike Klinsling, freshman out of Strongsville, Ohio, also on. Harold Walton leaves. That's freshman for freshman.
In terms of benches, Ball State with a little bit deeper bench. They'll play 9 players, possibly 10. They primarily go with 9. Kent State at about the 8. They'll play primarily 8 players unless they get into foul trouble.
Roman Muller originally signed with Rick Majerus at Marquette, and then when Majerus came to Ball State, he followed along. Good idea considering the kind of year they're having and the kind of year Marquette's having. Reggie Adams. This is Eric Glenn. Kent State probing.
Ball State doing an extremely nice job in the half-court defensive situation. They are forcing Kent State out of their offense.
Rick Blevins with it. They don't want to give him the shot. Reggie Adams with a nice play, but they'll call him for the charge.
Nice play that time by Kidd. Adams a little out of control, left his feet. You're going to get a good look at Kidd. Now watch Kidd slide in. Adams leaves his feet. Kidd is standing there. Nice move that time by Kidd. We'll get a nice look at it from above. Adams again beats his man, leaves his feet. You see Kidd, he's standing there. Good call by the official.
We are midway through the first half, and this a somewhat important possession, maybe the first one defensively for Kent State. They're down by 3. Ball State could open up its biggest lead. McCurdy can't quite do it.
Ball State's doing a good job of getting back defensively. They're not allowing the transition game to be a factor.
Another turnover, Kent State. That'll really get Jim McDonald upset, too many of those. When Kent State has committed fewer turnovers than their opposition, they have gone 12-3 on the season. It's been that kind of play that's allowed them to win 20 games with personnel that many wouldn't think could win 20.
Both these teams are well-disciplined teams. They don't stray too far away from what they've done to get them here. Both well-coached, extremely.
Harris McCurdy made his move and traveled with the ball. Keith Stalling in the ball game for Ball State now, number 23, sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois. Reggie Adams has gone all the way at point guard. Blevins with a good look inside to Mike Klinsling.
Good defensive play that time by the 7'1" Muller as he got a hand on it. Nice block.
9 minutes to go, first half, Ball State by 3. Roman Muller. 4 points for Muller. Who's going to block that shot?
You can see the inside superiority of Ball State right there. 7'1", good point. He's too tall for Kent State to handle. Glenn's shaken up a little bit. You see head coach Jim McDonald talking to David Barnwell.
He's telling Barnwell what to do against the 7-footer, and Barnwell says, you go try that. This guy's got longer arms than me. He's taller than me.
You always love that as a player, as the coach calls you over and tells you how to stop the 7'1" player.
Easy to say, hard to do. Adams with it. Good penetration. Didn't get the shot. And Muller doing a good job off the bench for Ball State.
You can really feel the momentum has changed in this basketball game. Ball State with the momentum, a lot more confident than they were early in the game, and their shots are falling now.
Mike Spicer fed it off to Stalling. Stalling missed the shot. And the alternating possession error will mean it's still Ball State's ball.
That time McCurdy made a nice offensive rebound, but he put it to the floor. When you're 6'7", you don't put it to the floor because then that brings in all the guards into play. That time he put it to the floor. Kent State did a good job of tying him up.
Kent State's going to make another change. They will give Eric Glenn a rest. And they will bring on Tony Banks, a freshman out of Muncie, Indiana. Now, this is a guy from Ball State's hometown, Muncie, Indiana, playing for Kent State. Although we were told he's not a very emotional player, it's hard to believe there aren't some feelings there.
Well, you always want to do well against the hometown folks, whether it's emotional or not. He'd like to win this game so he can go home in the summertime and gloat.
Spoken like a true former player who gloated, I guess. Roman Muller missed it. So did Paris McCurdy. And we're going back down the other way. And
Parrish that time called for reaching over.
The two big guys, Roman Muller on one side and David Barnwell on the other, were staring at each other and were ready to square off.
I got to feel if you're Rick Majerus, you like seeing a little emotion in your big 7'1" player.
We saw the emotion that time. 7:56 to go first half. Ball State's got a 5-point lead over the Golden Flashes. And the Cards, well, not once but twice today, because later on today in the Metro it'll be Louisville versus Florida State at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Some of you will see that game. Others of you will see the Southwestern Conference Championship game between Texas and Arkansas. And then right after that, Dick Vitale and John Saunders with the NCAA pairing show, where you'll see who plays who, and more importantly, even who gets in and who doesn't. Ball State by 5 over Kent State.
Ball State's gone man-to-man the entire first half. They really do a good job of pressuring you, pushing you away from the spots on the floor where you want to set your offense.
Number 14 is Mitch Sowards in the ball game for the first time for Kent State. Freshman from Huntington, West Virginia, and they have called a foul against Ball State, and I believe they got Paris McCurdy. First foul on McCurdy.
McCurdy trying to fight over a screen that time, got called for pushing off.
$7:29 to go first half. This is Sowards. Sowards is 39% from three-point, so they wouldn't mind having him shoot it from there. Pretty good touch for the big man, David Barnwell.
Once again, nice execution for Kent State. Got the picks down low. Barnwell came open pretty much untouched and put the shot in.
That's got the Kent State fans up and whooping a little bit. Good crowd on hand considering we're on a neutral court. University of Toledo was destroyed by Kent State in the semifinals last night, but still a good crowd on hand today. Off the turnover, Kent State a chance to tie it up with a three-pointer. Barnwell tried it again, didn't get it on the offensive boards. They still don't get it, but Barnwell gets the third try, and if Kent State can do that, they've got an added plus.
That's unexpected because in the rebounding situation, Ball State's much more physical. That time, nobody blocked Barnwell off and was able to get the second effort.
Down to 6:15 to go first half. Ball State's lead has been shaved from 5 to 1. And that'll be a two-pointer for Sean Parrish, junior out of Spencer, Indiana. His first bucket. Barnwell has really given them some help off the bench. He's got confidence as well. Didn't hit it, but his penetration caused the opportunity for Blevins. Surprisingly empty trip after all that effort. McCurdy.
Ball State, once again, one of the few times they pushed it down the floor, got a transition basket. McCurdy with a nice baseline shot.
7 points for Paris McCurdy. And the foul is going to be against McCurdy at the other end. His second.
McCurdy battling for position down low. Didn't want that entry pass to go to the baseline. Call for the foul. You see the field goal percentage. Kent State 60%. Talked about 48% 18-0 when they shoot that percentage. Ball State 41%, although again, Ball State is not an extremely talented field goal percentage team. The key for them is possessions. They've gotten 6 offensive rebounds out of their 10 total in the first half.
Well, John, you mentioned offensive efficiency. You thought that would be a key for Kent State, 60%. That's pretty efficient. Eric Glenn for Kent State. 5:18 to go first half. .25 seconds on the shot clock. Mitch Sowards with it. Mangapora back in with the 2 fouls, number 54. And stepping on the end line, a little bit surprised by it himself.
See the rebounds there. Ball State, as we mentioned just a minute ago, 6 of those 10 have been offensive rebounds. And possessions are so important for Ball State because if you're 50% on your possessions, your field goal percentage is not that important.
Billy Butts has already shown you his 3-point touch. This is Parrish from Vincennes Junior College in Indiana. Muller with the turn. Not this time. Offensive work on the boards, though, by Curtis Kidd. And the foul, I think, will be on Eric Glenn. It is. That's his first.
Muller's going to put the shot up, and we talked about rebounding. Nice job that time by Kidd, and you see Glenn reaches in, call for the foul. Shot's going to go up again. Look at Curtis Kidd down low. Look at him fighting for position. He gets the inside position. You can see what a physical player he is, and Glenn reaches in for the foul.
Ball State by 5. To illustrate your point about possessions, Curtis Kidd's already got 4 offensive rebounds. Billy Butts for 3. That's his 3rd 3-pointer.
There's the dividend of that extra possession that time. They would not have had that opportunity had Kidd not come up with that big rebound. This time they get a 3-point shot.
9 points for Billy Butts. Ball State by 8, their biggest lead. Mangapora got fouled on the way in.
Looked like Muller picked up the foul. Mangapora a little too quick for Muller. Muller 7-1, not quite as quick as the 6'8 Mangapora. Went around him, and Muller called for reaching in.
Ball State won 78-62 when the teams met in Muncie, Indiana. They won 73-61 when they met in Kent, Ohio, outside of Akron.
Get a good look at Ball State head coach Rick Majerus talking to Paris McCurdy on the sideline.
And he emphasized to us before the game that, yes, he's got transfers, yes, he's got junior college players, but these are not bad kids. They are good kids. And Sean Parrish, an academically very, very strong kid out of the junior college ranks. Sometimes teams get a bad reputation when they get junior college kids, but sometimes if you want to build a national-type power like Rick Majerus is trying to do at Ball State, only way you're going to do it is with transfers and JCs.
The other interesting thing that he said yesterday, Gary, was that 7 of his top 9 players were new to the program. They may have been around last year, but they didn't play. That's a lot of new faces to have such a season like they've had.
Mangapora goes 1 for 2. This is Billy Butts. We're under 4 minutes to go, first half. Championship week closing out today on ESPN.
Blevins that time reaching in on Miller, call for the foul, out of position.
First personal foul on Blevins. And Kent State will make a change. Eric Glenn will get a rest. And in to replace him, David Barnwell, who played well in his first stint earlier on. Couple of shots upcoming for Ball State. 3 points in the ball game thus far. For Kent State, I should say, and make it 4 for Harold Walton. There's Rick Majerus, assistant to Al McGuire at Marquette. Got some of the same mannerisms.
Certainly does. He also credits John Nelson of the Bucks, who he coached with a lot of his coaching philosophy.
So it is 30-21. Ball State with its biggest lead by 9. 3:49 to go till halftime here in Toledo. A lot of very nervous coaches around the country waiting to hear what Dick Vitale and John Saunders will have to say at 6 o'clock tonight when they look at the brackets in the East, the Mid-East, the Midwest, and the West. Find out who plays who's seated where, and very, very importantly, did you get in or not for those borderline teams?
From a player's standpoint, that's a great feeling because one of your goals that you set preseason has been achieved.
course, you were there with Memphis State.
Fortunate enough to get to the tournament 3 times out of the 4 years. A lot of fun once you get there.
And the 2 points for Kent State for Reggie Adams. His first bucket of the ball game. Pulls Kent State within 7, 3:22 to go first half. This is Billy Butts. Trying to deny the inside, Kent State is. Sean Parrish, close to 5 seconds, very close. Oh, boy, very close. Curtis Kidd able to bank it home.
You can tell that Kidd really likes the matchup with Mangapore. He was calling for the basketball as soon as he got it, no hesitation whatsoever, went right to the basket.
Barnwell to Mangapore. They're playing both big guys now together. Kent State is. Mangapore. Look out now. Ball State's got some room to run.
Got to be a bounce pass there. That's tough to make that chest pass through 2 defenders.
Back comes Adams. Good dish, but the shot wouldn't go. Blocked by Muller. Traveling violation against Kent State.
Nice defensive. That play that time by Roman Muller. Avoided the foul. Nice play. Going to get a good look at Muller. Stays on his feet. Goes straight up. Slaps down, but got all ball. Normally you'll see a foul call right there, and you see it. Blevins came down with it, and that's a traveling call.
Quick penetration sets up Curtis Kidd. This is Billy Butts, a 2-pointer. He was on the line, and the rebound to Kent State. And a big 2 minutes coming up for the Golden Flashes. They're down by 9. They'd like to get at least 4 of those back, you would think.
Kent State wants to go into halftime with the momentum, and you're right. If they can get to 4 or 5 points, we'll have a game in the second half.
Blevins keeps trying those head fakes, but they don't go for him.
Kent State really has not been able to have a transition situation this half. It's been pretty much half court, and that's exactly the way Ball State wants it. They've controlled the tempo in the first half.
Reggie Adams came up short. Mangapore on the offensive boards, right back up in front of a big 3-point play. Opportunity coming for Mangapore. A big play for Kent State.
That's just a fundamental heads-up play by Jim Mangapore. Watch Mangapore. He and Kidd are battling down low. Mangapore is going to come up with it. Takes a second, resets himself, driving right in, and Kidd's just not in position. He's in that in-between stage, really not establishing his position. Nice heads-up play by Jim Mangapore.
Well, you said some key words there. He really did set himself, have good control of the body as he made his way to the basket.
When you make that move inside like that, you've got to be under control. When you're out of control, that's when the charge results.
Ball State does a little shuffling of their own. Sean Parrish back in. And Kent State will bring Eric Glenn back. And David Barnwell will leave. Both teams have gotten pretty good production off their benches so far, if not in points, in continuity.
Both teams, again, extremely well coached. They play well together. Both teams, they know what their roles are. You don't see players out there trying to do things they're not capable of.
From 9 to 6, a big 3-pointer. As you look at Jim McDonald, he likes it.
He's intense over there on the sidelines. What a gentleman he is. But a very intense competitor, as is his counterpart, Rick Majerus.
Ball State by 6, 1:25 till halftime. Roman Muller has really played well. Not Roman. Was that Roman Muller? Yep.
Sure was. He's come off the bench to give Rick Majerus and Ball State some quality minutes.
Eric Glenn for the Flashes. Mangapore couldn't get that one, but good work by Reggie Adams on the offensive boards, and Kent State's getting some things I don't think they expected to get.
Ball State not blocking out too well. You see Rick Majerus, he's talking to him. Wants better blocking out on the defensive boards.
Billy Butts. They say the ball was not touched. Over and back, it will be Kent State ball.
We talked at the 2-minute mark about how important it was for Kent State to get back in this game, to whittle it away to 4 or 5. They're down by 6 right now. Could cut that in half with a 3-point shot or get it to 4 with a 2.
Ball State brings Scott Nichols back on, replacing Keith Stalling. The sophomore came on, did a good job for him. Reggie Adams. 7-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock, so Kent State can run out most of the first half, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Down by 6. They'd love to go in down 4, but look out now, the turnover. Greg Miller, and now they'll hold for 1. That's a big turnover.
It is, because it's a momentum killer. Kent State could have gone in on a positive note. Now Ball State has the chance to once again regain that momentum. It's so important going in and out of the half.
Scott Nichols says, everybody get out of my way. We're not ready to go yet. Now they are. 10 seconds left in the half. Nichols feeds Muller, and Muller's had a big first half. 10, make it 9 points for Roman Muller. Adams didn't get it, and that's your first half. Well, the performance off the bench by Roman Muller really was important. The 7-footer got 9 points for Ball State, and they lead by 8, 36-28 at halftime. Let's send it on back to Tim Brando.
All right, Gary and John Albright, thank you very much. It is an 8-point lead for Ball State. Now, they go in as the top seed. And remember this is a very important game for a lot of teams on the bubble, because should Kent State pull off an upset, that would mean the 9th tournament top seed has been knocked out. And that could cost a number of teams at-large entries. Now, here are the teams that we believe are probably in. Evansville, but remember, if Kent State were to win this game, that could hurt Evansville. Jim Cruz's team could be out of it suddenly. South Carolina, Providence, Iowa State, Minnesota, we believe are probably in the tournament field. The ones that we believe are now probably out by virtue of what happened to them during championship week. Temple at 18-11 had a tough schedule, but lost all of their big games that they played on national television, and that schedule was made for that very purpose. Wisconsin 17-11, Ohio State, and Oklahoma State with that big loss to Iowa State. The Cowboys, all of their big W's were at home. The teams that are still hopeful, Boise State at 23-6, they're the type of team that is affected by this. Louisiana Tech, which really should be in, does not have the automatic bid by virtue of the American South. It's just a 2-year-old league. They could be affected today in a big, big way. UC Santa Barbara, New Mexico State, and New Mexico, all of those teams are still hopeful.
ESPN's NCAA basketball, the Mid-American Conference Championship game, is brought to you by Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan, by Nike, who reminds you to just do it, and by the makers of Campbell's Chunky Soup. It takes care of the meanest appetites.
High anxiety is the word here on day 9 of championship week. Hello again, everyone. I am Tim Brando. You know, one of the reasons this is such a great business is because you get to meet men like Pat Kennedy, the head basketball coach at Florida State. It has been a most interesting year for Kennedy, and a year...
36-28, Ball State on top of Kent State, and John Albright. It was a good performance by Roman Muller off the bench for Ball State, and some very good play inside, as we expected, that has them up by 8 points.
Well, Ball State has done a good job inside. They've controlled the boards, and they've also not allowed Kent State to get into the transition game. It's been pretty much just a half-court game. Ball State has done a good job of not allowing Kent State to run. Kent State wants to run in the second half. They've also got to stop Mueller.
Let's take a look at the first half statistics and see how things looked as far as the field goal percentage is concerned to start out.
Well, you can see Kent State, they started off extremely hot, only 46%, where Ball State did a good job the last 10 minutes of the first half, shooting 50%. That's higher than they're shooting for the year.
And you mentioned possessions. Ball State only had 2 more than Kent State.
But they did a good job getting those possessions on the offensive end. Free throws,
free throw line.
Both teams doing extremely well. You see only 1 missed free throw by either team in the first half, so that hadn't been a factor. Both teams shooting extremely well. The other big factor has been three-point shooting. As you see, Ball State 4 out of 5. Now, what that does to the Kent State zone, that extends the zone and that loosens up the inside. You see, Kent State, they were perfect 2 out of 2 in the first half. Turnovers, Kent State with 9. Once again, they were not able to get into the transition game whatsoever. Ball State, an amazing only 4 turnovers in the first half, did a great job of holding on to the basketball.
As far as the battle on the boards.
Now, the key there is 8 or 9 of those were offensive rebounds. Once again, that's additional possessions. So that's a little misleading because Ball State had a superior hand in the offensive rebounding category.
And I think Kent State did a better job on the offensive boards than we thought they would do coming in, maybe better than they thought they would do.
They do. Once again, Kent State has got to get in a full-court game. They can't win this game in a half-court situation. Look for them to try to pick the tempo up. They'll do it offensively to try to push it up and down the floor.
Of course, in order to do that, you got to work well off the boards, and they've had problems doing that, so they'll probably have to press before this one is over. It's Ball State by 8, and we're coming back with a second half after this.
ESPN's NCAA basketball, the Mid-American Conference Championship game, is brought to you by Volvo, a car you can believe in, by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. And by Konica Copiers. They work as hard as you do.
Gary Sparber, John Albright from the Savage Hall at Toledo, Ohio, the Mid-American Conference Championship. And you look at Jim McDonald, and I guess you hit on the key, John, a few moments ago. He's got to find a way to up the tempo in the second half.
In the half-court game, Ball State's just wearing down the inside people of Kent State, and they've got to get Adams and company in transition, open this game up to a full-court game if they want to get back in it.
And I mentioned the problem they have with that is that Ball State is more athletic, bigger at most positions, and if they control the boards, Ball State, it's difficult to dictate the tempo for Kent State.
Interesting stat. Bench scoring, Ball State had 13 points, Kent State 4. The Ball State scoring came from two guys, Roman Muller and Greg Miller. They combined for all 13 of the Ball State points coming off the bench.
So Kent State will get it first. And this is Harold Walton to Reggie Adams. Barnwell, with his strong play in the first half, number 32, has earned himself a start here in the second. Adams off the drive. Coming back the other way to Ball State.
That time you saw Adams make the penetration, trying to pick that tempo up again. Kent State has got to get this game in a full court situation if they want to win.
First 4 minutes so important to Kent State. Down 8 coming in. This is Curtis Kidd. I wonder if Rick Majerus has ever sent a thank you note to the University of Arkansas Little Rock for Curtis Kidd and Paris McCurdy. Kidd's got 9 points.
Not a bad package deal in that.
Both of them made that move, sat out the year, and now they're a member of a team that's only lost 2 games all year.
Blevins only had 2 field goal attempts in the first half. They want to get him more shots in the second half.
Eric Glenn, they'll give him that shot. This is Blevins. He's got to try a different fake. He keeps that same head fake, and they know he's not going up with it.
Ball State's doing a good job. They adjusted, staying on the floor.
Blevins got the shot, but couldn't get it to go down, and back comes Billy Butts for Ball State. He has played well. Did not get that one to fall, however. 3 3-pointers for him in the first half. Walton dribbled himself into real trouble, and the possession arrow's going the other way.
Good hustle that time by Sean Parrish. Loose ball. He went to the floor, tied it up, and it'll be Ball State basketball.
A little bit out of control that time for Walton.
Rick Majerus says that Sean Parrish is a garbage player. Doesn't look pretty. He just goes out and gets the job done.
I've heard people who don't know the game real well think that's an insult. It's not. It's just it means a guy will work hard and get through those points, and there's an offensive foul against Ball State's Scott Nichols.
Nichols that time called for pushing off with his off forearm. We'll look at it from the low arm. Watch his arm come up. See there, he hooked. That time he hooked at him. That's where the call was made. Good call that time by the official.
A little over a minute and a half into the second half. Ball State has a 10-point lead, their biggest. Jim McDonald of Kent State trying to figure out how to get back.
Now, Ball State had a couple of big leads last night against Eastern Michigan, and they squandered it. Had trouble putting Eastern Michigan away, so 10 points is not insurmountable at all.
Ball State only won by 1 last night. Kent State breezed through the first 2 rounds here. Barnwell. Oh, you just can't take your elbow and put it into the defensive man.
That time he made his mind up. You're going to look at Barnwell, who's going to play fullback. Watch him put his shoulder down. Decides he needs a couple yards. No question about that. Good play that time by Sean Parrish.
You're right. It was the shoulder, not the elbow, but either way, the charge. Offensive foul going to go against Nichols off the ball.
Nichols that time called for an illegal screen. That's 2 quick offensive fouls on Nichols.
He will go out, and Keith Stalling will replace him. Stalling, the sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois, got some playing time in the first half.
It's very unusual to get more than 1 offensive foul in a game, and Nichols has picked up 2 in the last minute.
Blevins, a nice cut to the basket that time, and a 3-point play opportunity coming for Reggie Adams. That might be their nicest play of the game.
Nice execution that time by Kent State. We'll get a good look. Nice entry pass from Blevins. Good cut. That's the key. Good pump fake. Kidd leaves his feet. Nice move that time by Adams. He sold him on the pump fake. Kidd left his feet, and Adams will have a chance for the conventional three-point play.
Adams out of East Cleveland, Ohio. They produce so many good ball players there. Eight-point lead for Ball State. Keith Stalling, Sean Parrish, and Billy Butts for three. That's his fourth three-pointer of the game. Ball State leads by 11, and Butts has 12, all on three-pointers.
Butts is a 40% regular field goal percentage shooter. Almost shoots that from the three-point range. He's a 38% three-point shooter.
He's missed one or two from two-point range. I don't believe he's missed a three-pointer today. Not sure.
He likes shooting from behind that line.
And a nice shot by Barnwell.
That time Ball State missed an assignment because Barnwell almost shot that shot flat-footed.
David Barnwell, 6'9", from Oxford, Michigan, with long, long arms. And with Roman Mueller not in the game for Ball State, their 7-footer, nobody's blocking Barnwell's shot. It's just a question if he can shoot it. Nobody got back.
That's exactly right. That time Kent State didn't realize that Paris McCurdy had snuck behind the defense. Nice outlet pass, and they get an easy two.
They were in their 2-2-1 zone, but they still got to watch out for folks slipping behind.
The two backmen, normally they will communicate. It'll be the responsibility of one of those two guys to take anybody behind them.
Eric Glenn, guarded by McCurdy. Walton down the lane. Blevins and Kent State within 9.
Once again, Blevins is a good shooter, the best pure shooter on the Kent State team. They've got to get more shots for him.
Here's a big turnover and 2 quickie points for Reggie Adams.
Now, yesterday in the semifinals, Ball State had trouble with full court pressure.
Well, Kent State's certainly not going to let up here. They've got it down to 7, 43-36.
Just beat the 10-second call across half court.
Scott Nichols, 2-1-2 zone. Three-pointer, Billy Butts, his 5th.
Okay, Kent State's got to shade him defensively. You've got to communicate where Butts is, and you've got to shade him.
I think Jim McDonald may have had the thought the same moment you did, because Billy Butts will bury him if he keeps putting him in from there. Ball State with a 10-point lead. We'll be back. This year, and the same could be said of Nolan Richardson at Arkansas. They won the regular season championship in that league.
Texas had to win 2 overtime games to get to the finals.
Ball State by 10 here, 15-15 left, and Reggie Adams can't get it to drop, but gets his own boards. Fresh 45 seconds for Kent State to work with.
Plenty of time left for Kent State to get back in the game, but they've got to do a better job of selecting the shots. They're forcing up some shots, still plenty of time.
Walton missed. Billy Butts, they've got to be closer on him. He's got 5 3-pointers.
But Kidd really battling down low with Barnwell. Look at him post up. He wants that basketball, and he's going to get it.
He got it, but could not get she's a better shooter than that.
May not have wanted it after he put that shot up.
May not get it next time. Nah, they're 27-2, so he's had a lot to do with it, so I'm sure they'll keep feeding it to him. Kent State makes a change. Blevins comes out for them, and Mitch Sowards comes back in, the sophomore.
Once again, Curtis Kidd getting the ball down low on Barnwell. This time he goes up and gets the 2.
Ball State by 12. Kidd's got 10 points. This is Sowards. Barnwell. Walton. Walton's had a tough game.
Freshman of the year in the Mid-American Conference. You're right, he's been quiet. They need some points from him if they want to make a run.
Billy Butts, and you made the point, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're not letting Billy Butts alone now outside the three-point line.
Well, he's earned the defensive respect because he's burned him several times from three-point range, and once you get 2 or 3, you don't want a good shooter to get in a rhythm.
This is Scott Nichols, not a shooter. Looked for Butts, but you saw Butts was shaded. This is Parrish. Feeding the post, but a good knock away by Barnwell, who has really given them a strong game off the bench.
Good help that time also by number 14, Sowards, who reached down and helped defensively.
Walton had his shot blocked by Parrish, but they're going to call the foul. First foul on Sean Parrish.
You see the drive. Miller reaches in. Walton, a strong, aggressive move to the hoop. He's fouled, no doubt about that play. Getting another look at the freshman of the year in the MAC Conference. Mr. Walton goes up, and Miller makes sure that there's no chance for that shot to go in. If you're going to commit that foul, do it just like Greg Miller did. Make sure there's no opportunity whatsoever for a three-point possibility.
And my apologies to Sean Parrish. That foul indeed on Greg Miller, and Jim McDonald talks things over with his point guard, Reggie Adams. 13:39 left, Ball State by 6. Harold Walton's been starting since the third game of his freshman year. Good shooter when he gets a good look at the basket, not that good off the run.
Kent State, normally a very good free throw shooting team. They've got to capitalize at the free throw line when they get there.
Nichols. Feeding the post. But that time it would not go down for Mueller. It's going to be Kent State ball. .13:21 to go, 48-37, Ball State over Kent State. Final day of college basketball before the postseason tournaments. And you'll see both of them, part of them, the NCAA and the NIT on ESPN.
Look at Mueller. He's really defensively hounding Barnwell out top.
Crowd wanted traveling, didn't get it, and look at that. 3-point play, which may become a 4-point play for Kent State.
That's just a mental mistake that turned into a physical mistake. You never put yourself in this position right here. You never even come close to fouling a man that far out. You see McCurdy out of control, fouls Sowards, and you see Sowards, he's got his hands up. He wanted the three, and he's going to get a chance for a 4-point play. This could be a big swing in this game.
Chance to bring Kent State within 7 points, and that's exactly what Mitch Sowards did. His first points of the ball game were big ones. Good job breaking the pressure that time for Ball State.
Ball State is content once they break the press to set up their half-court offense. Normally, they won't attack it once they break it.
27 seconds for Ball State to work with.
Easy, get on.
And the shot goes down. Rolled around, but Paris McCurdy got the roll.
Nice touch that time by the 6'7" Paris McCurdy.
10 points for McCurdy from Detroit Cooley High School, just about an hour's drive from where we're sitting in Toledo. He and Curtis Kidd, as we mentioned, went to school there together. Ball State by 9.
Ball State's gone man-to-man the entire game. They're still in that tough half-court man-to-man defense.
Sowards beat his man, but the turnover. Some players are quick enough to get penetration, but then they got to be heady enough to know what to do with it. This is Miller. An over-the-top foul is going to be called on Mueller.
Good aggressive play by the 7'1" Mueller, and if you're Rick Majerus, you like to see the big guy going aggressively to the boards that time. Unfortunately, he went over somebody's back and called for the foul.
Second foul on Roman Mueller. Ball State has 3 team fouls. Kent State has 1.
Now this is Mueller and Barnwell at the other end. This is a non-contact sport, right? No way. Look at Barnwell and Mueller. They're going at it. Exchange words. Talk about what they're going to do after the game, I'm sure.
I think they were discussing their moves if they're couldn't make the NBA, maybe the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. 7 points for Mr. Barnwell on the line. Jim McDonald sat in a chair right in this building for a long, long time as the assistant to the very well-respected Bobby Nichols, who coached for so long at Toledo. It's 50-43. Barnwell's got 8 points. 12 minutes exactly left to play. Jim Mangapora back in for Kent State. Barnwell gets a seat.
Full court pressure now by Kent State.
Of course, Ball State doesn't have to be in any rush. They've got the 7-point lead.
That's a good move because Ball State really doesn't try to attack that press once they break it, so you're really not gambling that much.
Keith Stalling got by his man, the sophomore's first basket, 52-43. Blevins can shoot it from there, but the rebound comes down to Paris McCurdy.
Only one opportunity for Kent State. Ball State doing a good job blocking out on the boards.
Good defense, Kent State. Walton.
Good job by Nichols that time to stop the transition play.
Good quick move by Sowards, but Mueller said, take that thing out of here.
Mueller sent a little message that time to the rest of the Kent State team.
You want to shoot, don't do it from my territory. Now he'll do it on the offensive end. No, but we'll get some help. Paris McCurdy putting together a pretty good ball game. 12 points for him and a good number of rebounds as well.
Well, with Mueller being effective down low, helping out on him, there's going to be somebody else open, and that time McCurdy was.
Ball State by 11. Walton starting to heat up. We mentioned he was having a tough ball game, but since about the 15-minute mark of the second half, he's made a strong contribution. 5 points for him.
That's how Nichols left his feet with nowhere to go.
And 2 more for Kent State.
Miller's hurt. He's in pain down at the other end. You see the official right there over him. Greg Miller went down. You can see the pain in his face.
The basket will count for Eric Glenn at the other end. It pulls Kent State within 7, and Miller looks to be, the big thing is he's putting weight on that right knee where the brace is, so I don't think, well, it's clear he has not re-injured the knee. We got a good one. 10-14 to go in the Mid-American Conference Championship, and Ball State leads by 7. You can see Ball State working during the timeout on Greg Miller.
This is what college basketball and college sports in general is all about. You can see Miller had an opportunity to probably go ahead and have surgery during the middle of the season, yet his teammates are out there, and he chose to have it done after the season, obviously in a lot of pain.
Well, Rick Majerus told us before the game, look, he's not going anywhere. He's not going to the NBA. This is it for him, an important game. He wants to play it, and the coach didn't blame him a bit. Ball State on top by 7. And they've got Todd Rowe in the ballgame running the point for the first time. This is Todd Rowe, freshman from Leavittsburg, Ohio.
Once again, not a smart foul. Walton fouls a shot that Butts really, a questionable shot to put that particular one up, but Butts is fouled in the act.
On behalf of the Golden Flashes and the Cardinals, Anheuser-Busch will make a $500 donation to the local Students Against Drunken Drivers chapter at both Kent State and Ball State. And congratulations on advancing to the Mid-American Conference Championships to both Kent State and Ball State from Anheuser-Busch. 9:48 to go. Interesting move, changing point guards for Ball State at a very critical time in the ballgame.
Was a very, very interesting move. The only thing I can figure, Scott Nichols has been banged up a little bit. Rick Majerus told us before the game that he's not 100% physically. Possibly he's not feeling good.
Everybody wants the conference title, but this game, as we mentioned at the outset, of greater importance to Kent State, probably. I say probably because Ball State, I think most people feel about 99%, 95%, they'll get a bid to the NCAA even if they lose.
Well, Ball State fighting for a higher seed.
Right?
It's important to them to get that higher seeding to have a better chance of winning that first round game.
But Kent State's looking NIT probably if they lose this game. Probably.
Mike Spicer going to be called away from the basketball for that foul. He and Adams got hooked up, and Spicer called for the foul. Both these teams fighting for position. Look at Spicer. He's going to try to fight around the pick. Gets a hold of Adams and takes him to the floor. The official right there. Mike Spicer picks up his first foul.
Spicer's still another freshman out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Nichols checks back into the game pretty quickly.
So maybe nothing more than a rest for him. Really, that was the only time I can remember him being out of the game. Other than halftime.
Well, down the stretch run, you really, particularly the point guard situation, that's your quarterback, that's your coach out on the floor. You want to have that particular player out there as long as you can.
Reggie Adams has got 9 points, and the lead is 8 for Ball State. Kent State very much in this thing, down by 7, a world of time remaining, 9:34 left. You saw part of a very good crowd here in Toledo.
Kent State immediately into full court pressure. When Ball State turns their back, they'll trap them from behind.
Billy Butts, and they tied him up. It's going to go the other way. It's going to be Kent State ball. And hugging that basketball for dear life, saying it belongs to me, is Reggie Adams.
Nice play this time by Kent State. And the mistake that's made here, watch Butts. Just waits for the defense come to right to him instead of trying to get away from it or passing it. You see Adams, nice tie-up, and it'll be Kent State basketball. When you break the timeline, you want to either keep moving with the basketball or pass it and keep moving. You don't want to let the defense come to you.
Of course, it's tough to stop panic from setting in just a little bit. He had a man about 3 feet away. Adams thought better of the pass inside. It was good to think better of it. And then loses his balance and travels.
Adams and Nichols got hooked up. No foul call. Adams went down and shuffled his pivot foot.
So Kent State will need some stops here. They're down by 7. We're under 9 minutes.
It's man-to-man defense, but when you turn your back, Kent State's going to double up on you.
Jim McDonald in his 7th year as head coach at Kent State. Billy Butts, they're all over him outside. He's got 5 3-pointers in the game.
This is the point in the game where you don't want to stall because you don't want to kill your momentum. You just run your regular offense over and over, and you try to get a good percentage shot, and a fadeaway was not what Rick Majerus was looking for.
Off the Curtis Kidd miss, Walton couldn't get it at the other end, and that is a very costly empty trip. Nichols a little shaken up on the play as well.
You see Nichols, he's got a brace of sorts on his knee. He's not 100% there. He went down, although he seems to be okay.
But, John, that was one of the few times Kent State has gotten what you said they've had to have, which is the up-tempo, and they had about a 4-on-1 and made it an empty trip. That hurts you.
You've got to finish off the break with 2 points. That time they had a good transition possibility, but couldn't finish it off.
8:09 to go. Nichols with it. Kidd to Billy Butts for 3. Finally missed one, and it's going to go the other way. So Kent State with an opportunity to get as close as they've been, I believe, since the first half. I don't believe they've been within 5 since the first half. Well, they're there now. In fact, they're within 4. Eric Glenn gets a 3-pointer, and we're talking about 56-52.
Ball State
and Rick
needs a
Majerus
timeout.
was going to do it. Yeah, timeout. So Kent State making their run. We'll see how Ball State responds. 7:46 left to play.
A quick start leading Duke by 9, but look out. Kent State could be costing another team an at-large entry. Let's get back to Gary Sparber.
Thank you, Tim Brando. 56-52. Ball State on top, and we'll see how Kent State got so close.
Kent State down by 7. Make that 4 as Eric Glenn shows you his range, and we've got a basketball game. See Rick Majerus right after that shot. Give me a timeout. Wants to settle his troops down and reset them. The pressure defense has caused some problems for Ball State. They really haven't been able to get into their offensive flow. It's disrupted what they want to do offensively.
They've also taken the 3-pointer away from Billy Butts. He was killing them with that. 7.5 minutes remaining. Ball State by 4, and Nichols upset with his teammates, trying to reset them with only 17 on the shot clock.
Kidd wants it down low. He and Mangapore are really banging down low.
Butts with Walton poking at him. 9 on the shot clock. 6 on the shot clock. Nichols not a shooter. Oh, what a foolish, foolish foul. Reggie Adams with 6 on the shot clock. Nichols, a guy who cannot shoot the ball from the outside, and gets a couple of freebies.
Nichols doesn't look to shoot. He looks to pass off first. Shot clock running down, and Adams, as you mentioned, committed a foolish foul.
However, from the charity stripe, Nichols, well, still not a great shooter, 58.7, and Jim McDonald reflecting on his fate after that particular foul.
Turns out to be a very costly possession for Kent State.
First points of the ball game for Scott Nichols. 58-52. Mangapura, Walton, Blevins. And this is Eric Glenn. 23 on the shot clock, 6:45 in the game. Mangapura missed it inside, fights for the rebound, gets it back, but the arrow's pointing the other way. It's Ball State ball.
Kent State frustrated that time. Mangapura had a good shot initially. Give him credit for tying that basketball up, but it's got to be frustrating. You get the good shot down low and couldn't get it to fall. See Mangapura, he's going to tie it up right there. Just missed the shot, but he did tie it up. Unfortunately for Kent State, it was Ball State's possession.
Meantime, Reggie Adams committed another foul away from the basket. His third foul, and when he did, Jim McDonald pointed to his head as if to say, come on, we got to get smart plays. Team fouls now, 4 on Kent State, only 1 on Ball State. In the late going, if Ball State has a lot of fouls to give, that could really, really hurt Kent State's attempt at a comeback. Billy Butts behind a pick. Well, if they're going to shadow him, he says, I'll use a pick to get my shot off, and he got the 2-pointer. That's 17 in the game for Billy Butts.
Kent State, they've now got to get their scores. Glenn being one of the players they want to have the basketball. Walton the other, and he launches a 3-pointer and connects.
Back to a 5-point ball game as a result, 60-55. Curtis Kidd. Now they're playing Kent State ball.
Nichols once again does a good job of slowing down the transition of Kent State. Doesn't stop the penetration of Walton, but slows it down.
After a teammate had taken a quick shot to allow Kent State to get into that transition. Feeding Mangapura. Goes for his own rebound and commits the foul over the top. Third foul on Mangapura, and team foul number 4.
You're going to see just a frustration foul right here. Mangapura puts the shot up. McCurdy's got him blocked out very nicely. Mangapura just comes over his back. Not a lot of contact, but the key is McCurdy established his position and forced Mangapura to come over him.
Jim McDonald's team within 5. Steve Nichols for Ball State. Billy Butts. They give him no room. Ball State can take their time. Shot would not go, and it's coming the other way for Kent State. Paris McCurdy threw up the air ball, and almost an offensive rebound, but it'll be Kent State ball with a chance to get as close as they have been since the first half. 5 minutes, 9 seconds to go. The Mid-American Conference Championship in Toledo, Ohio. Don't go away. It's Ball State by 5. To 55, Ball State on top by 5. As you look at some of the Kent State cheerleaders, you know, nobody would say it for the record, certainly, from the Mid-American Conference, but a Kent State victory would probably be the best thing for the MAC Conference, because it would then, in all likelihood, get 2 teams into the NCAA tournament. Of course, Jim McDonald would like it. I'm not sure Rick Majerus feels that that's the best thing that could happen today.
Well, from Rick Majerus' standpoint, he wants to go in on a positive note, also fighting for that higher seed. Jim McDonald and Kent State looking for their first trip ever to the NCAA tournament.
Eric Glenn did not get the bounce on the 3-pointer, and now Kent State's got to buckle up their belts and play some defense. They're down by 5, and we're under 5 minutes to go.
A couple of key stats. We talked about rebounding early on. Ball State a 27-19 advantage. We also talked about Kent State in shooting. When they shoot 48%, they're 18-0. They're only shooting 47%.
That's pretty close, though.
We'll see if close counts in this situation.
Nichols.
Ball State very patient. Once again, don't go into the stall, but run your offense over and over.
Only 7 seconds on the shot clock. Kent State stole it. Billy Butts committed the foul. And going for the intentional foul call was Mitch Sowards. It was enough they got the steal, they got the foul. He wanted the whole ball of wax.
Sowards is going to put his coaching act on. You're going to see Nice help by Walton. You see both of them going for the basketball. Butts right there. Look at Sowers. He says, hey, intentional.
I want 2 shots and the ball.
Looks like he might be a good coach after his playing career is over. That was a quick response.
He'll get the 2 shots. He will not get the ball. At least he'll get the 1-and-1. Now he'll get the second. 53% free throw shooter.
Big free throws right here because Kent State can cut the Ball State lead to 3 if Sowers can hit this shot.
You got it.
What do stats mean anyway?
Well, the game makes the stats. The stats don't make the game. We always have to be careful of that, but they help us interpret it, certainly.
Sowers gets a hand from his teammates as he came in and contributed when he had to.
We're down to 4:08 to go.
See the trap right there where Nichols turned his back. Walton came over and tried to double team him. Well, McCurdy really battling for it down low. He wants it. Glenn's on his back. McCurdy doing a good job of shielding Glenn off. Look at him down low.
Billy Butts with 20 on the shot clock.
On the other side, kids doing the same thing to Mangapore. Ball State's got it down low if they want it.
Curtis Kidd had it partially blocked.
Good defense that time by Kent State because the only thing the kid had was a turn and fade, and that's not a high percentage shot. Plus, it takes him out of rebounding position.
A 3-pointer would tie the game. Walton feeding Glenn. They're within 1. .313 to go, 60-59.
Again, Ball State in the semifinals yesterday. They had trouble with a big lead, couldn't hold on to it. They escaped with a 1-point win, and they've squandered most of their big lead here.
Going to get a traveling call.
Kent State's going to have an opportunity to take the lead. Now watch the travel by McCurdy. Good help defense by Blevins. Nobody reaches in. The official right there. Big call on McCurdy.
Well, Kent State's in the best position they've been in since this thing started. They're down by 1 with 3 minutes to go, and they've got the ball.
The NCAA selection special coming up at 6 p.m. John Saunders and Dick Vitale will have it for you. And Gary Sparber and John Albright, your game, if Kent State comes up with a victory, teams like Evansville and Louisiana Tech could be knocked out of the 64-team field.
Well, Tim, a lot of teams around the country are looking at the ramifications just like that. You're right. And Kent State's in a great position now with the ball, less than 3 minutes to go. Down by 1.
Kent State has been the aggressor the last 2 or 3 minutes. Ball State has kind of relaxed, and Kent State, as a result, has got right back in this basketball game. Glenn's been the key for Kent State. He's come up with the big shots. Look for him to try to get the basketball.
Blevins, good shooter. Glenn was fouled, and fortunate to be fouled because he had already lost the ball on the way up, and that is foul number 4 on Curtis Kidd.
Glenn very close to traveling, but Kent State, give them a lot of credit for getting the basketball to the hot man. Glenn's been the key. There's one fake. McCurdy leaves his feet. Kidd's going to do the same thing, and there's where the foul occurred. We'll get a look at it from the low angle. There's one fake. McCurdy goes for that. Glenn picks it up. Another fake. Kidd goes for that one. Couple of fakes. Glenn finally gets a foul out of it.
Looking for his 15th point of the ball game. And we are all even at 60 with 2:33 to go. And I think Tim Brando brought up a very, very interesting point that there are teams all around the country who could be affected by this, the teams that are on the bubble.
Teams that you don't expect to get in the tournament knock those teams right on the edge out.
Probably more teams that think they're affected by it than there actually are, but certainly a few that are affected by it.
Kent State, a little token pressure.
They got to get it across, and they do. Billy Butts. Ball State down now for the first time since very, very early. Let's see how they react.
You're right. It's going to be interesting to see how they get back in their offense, because now they're not trying to run time off the clock. They're looking to score this trip down. See if they can change gears.
And this is where Kent State's in good shape because they're an executing team. And they've only got to execute for 2 minutes.
Kent State also a very good free throw shooting team. You see a money shot there by Paris McCurdy.
Really was. Ball State by 1. 14 points for Paris McCurdy.
Kent State's going to have to answer now.
Reggie Adams, critical possessions. You see the time left in the game. Blevins, 23 seconds still on the shot clock. This is Mangapura, couldn't get it. Rebound by Paris McCurdy.
If you need to foul somebody, Nichols is the man you want to foul. He's only a 58% free throw shooter. Plenty of time, don't need to foul right now, but if they need to, Nichols is the man you want to foul.
Ball State by 112 to go. Off the ball, contact inside, and the foul's going to go against Kent State.
Blevins is going to be called for running over Paris McCurdy. Watch Blevins come through. Good solid pick that time by McCurdy. Official right there, there's the call. You see McCurdy, he's looking, hey, he fouled me. Official made the call.
You got to be smart with this little time remaining and the score where it is. He could have gotten by with a little bit less than that.
Next foul, Ball State will be in the 1-and-1.
Let's check in the ACC. North Carolina has a 35-29 lead over Duke. That is in the first half. And you'll see same-day coverage of that on ESPN later on.
Official looked for help that time. Got help, and it's going to be Ball State basketball.
Rick Majerus, things a lot tighter than he hoped they would be with 1:06 remaining in the game.
Although he did make the point, you hate playing a team for the third time. Although they won the 2 earlier games pretty handily, he said, I just hate running into Kent State for the third time.
Well, you mentioned the 1-and-1 would be in effect, and now it will be. And the man who will have the screws turned on him is Curtis Kidd, a 68.6% free throw shooter. He leads by 1. His team does with 1:02 remaining. Into the ball game comes Sean Parrish, a 75% free throw shooter. Out of the game goes Greg Miller, a 79% shooter, so that wasn't the reason for the change.
The reason for the change is mobility. Miller with the knee brace, limited mobility. Parrish a lot more mobile. He got the roll almost a little too strong that time.
I saw you shaking your head as the ball was in the air.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of times, particularly in this situation, if you'll back up a couple inches, that'll take out the emotional end of things. And normally when you go to the line with this type of pressure, your emotions kick in and you're a little bit stronger than you'd like to be.
This is for a 3-point lead for Ball State. Kent State within a 3-pointer now with 1:02 to go.
Although Kent State doesn't have to put up the 3-point shot at this particular point in the game. There's still plenty of time. They'll try to get a good shot, but they don't have to force up a 3 if they don't want to.
Walton, Blevins. Blevins would be the guy they'd like to shoot it if they do put up a 3.
They've got to get in their offense. They can't take a whole lot of time at getting a shot off.
Tried to go with the high-low action. They're lucky to keep the ball. Now they get it down low. Blevins out to Glenn. This would tie the game, but no.
McCurdy made him alter his shot. He double clutched it and didn't really get the shot he wanted to get off.
Now they'll have to foul unless they can steal it or tie it up. They do tie it up, and the arrow points to Kent State.
Once again, that's the second time we've seen a Ball State player invite the defense in. Kidd put the ball down low. Ball State, fundamental mistake that time. Kent State was able to tie him up.
Well, now it's time to do some coaching. If you're Jim McDonald and Rick Majerus, it's Ball State by 3 over Kent State. First of all, if you're Jim McDonald.
If you're Jim McDonald, they're 3 points down. Plenty of time. 23 seconds is a lot of time. You see him conferring with his assistants, talking about it. I think if you're Kent State, you look for the first option. If it's a good percentage 2-point shot, you go ahead and put it up. If it's a 3, go ahead and put that up. But you don't take a lot of time. You still got enough time if you hit the 2-point shot. Now, if you're Ball State, when the shot goes up, defensively, you've got to block out. This is not the point in the game where you want to let them have second and third opportunities. Ball State's in good situation because it takes a 3 to tie. They're still in the driver's seat.
Ball State is 12 of 12 from the free throw line. Now, the one thing Kent State doesn't want to do is what Eastern Michigan did last night, which was be down by 3 in this situation, hold the ball to the final few seconds, and then drive for a 2-pointer. That doesn't do you any good.
You hate to see that situation because the kid for Eastern Michigan put the shot up, was celebrating, and then he saw his coach, and you saw the coach go to his head, say, hey, we were down by 3. sad situation. You know both these coaches have alerted their teams that it's a 3-point difference.
I was just going to say, after that happening last night, I bet Jim McDonald took at least a few seconds of that timeout to say, if we're down in the last few seconds, make it a 3.
Once again, Kent State's got to get a shot fairly quickly. They've got time, but they can't take too much time.
Blevins with it, 13 seconds left. You see the time on your screen. Eric Glenn for 3. Who gets the rebound? There's a hold. There's a hold. Good call. Nichols held off Adams and gets his 4th foul. And that was a critical time when the official had to make the call and did.
McCurdy's going to get the foul. Now the shot goes up. Watch Walton come in. See, Walton had position on McCurdy. Good call by the official. See the official right down in your lower corner. He made the call. Watch it from another angle. Shot's going to go up. Now watch Walton come across your screen. It's going to come from the left. There he is. McCurdy comes down on him. The official was right on top of it, and Walton will have a 1-on-1 opportunity.
He's an 85% free throw shooter. He can bring Kent State within 1 with 8 seconds to go. They'll go for an immediate steal and then foul. Talking about Kent State, whether he hits it or not.
8 seconds again. That's a lot of time. Plenty of time to get the ball the length of the court.
And once again, the two sides will have a few moments to talk it over. A little bit too early, even with 8 seconds to go, to try to miss it on purpose, wouldn't you think? I would think you'd put it in and go for this foul.
Right. Go ahead and try to make the second attempt. Try to steal the inbounds pass. Maybe get a charge off the ball. If Ball State gets the basketball inbounds, then you've got to quickly foul or go for the steal, make it look like a foul. All these fouls are intentional. It's just a matter of how you make them look.
Now, I wouldn't think Rick Majerus would send too many 40% free throw shooters out there at this stage.
That's right. If you're Rick Majerus and Ball State, you get it in your good free throw shooters' hands. You also get it in your ball handlers' hands.
Each team has 1 timeout remaining. We're 8 seconds away from the end of regulation time, and with a 2-point game, you got to say regulation time. Ball State by 2 over Kent State. Kent State will bring back David Barnwell into the game. He's a 75% free throw shooter, 6'9". A little extra rebounding. This is for the Mid-American Conference Championship and an automatic bid to the NCAA tournaments. Ball State's probably going either way. Kent State down by 2 here. They're playing the last 8 seconds for a berth in the 64-team field.
This is the way conference finals should end up. Exactly the way you expected it. Close ball game.
Walton trying to cut it to 1. Does not. Who gets the rebound? We're going to get a foul on Mangapora over the top. Made a good effort.
I think it was Blevins that reached in that time.
Right.
Very close to getting that basketball. That was very, very close. That was not an intentional miss by Kent State, but Blevins almost came up with it. Once again, they're still not in bad shape. A miss here, they're only 2 down. If they make one of the 2, they're 3 down and can still get back in it.
But for the first time here, a chance to salt it away. Paris McCurdy, a 72% shooter, can both of them and win the MAC championship. Well, that clinches a tie in regulation. This is for the MAC Conference Championship.
You got to say that was clutch because he didn't draw any iron whatsoever, nothing but net.
And at this point, like a field goal kicker, you're just going to make him think it over a little bit, but I would think Paris McCurdy would come back with some confidence.
Well, the first one is the hardest one to make. If you hit that first one from a confidence standpoint as a player, the second one is a lot easier. The first one's the tough one.
7 seconds left. If McCurdy hits the shot, obviously Kent State will have to run down and throw one up, but the 2 words that will come out of the mouth of Rick Majerus, no foul.
That's right. You can't defeat yourself. And you see Kent State, Ball State, they've battled all game long. Look for Walton or Adams to try to penetrate, get the shot off. They've got enough time to get it up, but not a lot of time once they get into the offensive end of things.
A very key point. Kent State has no timeouts left, so should they run down quickly and get the ball in the basket with, say, 3 seconds to go, Ball State will not have to inbound the ball. The game would just simply end.
That's right. And I'm sure that Rick Majerus and the Ball State staff, they're telling their players that, hey, if they hit the 2-point shot, it's over with. There's nothing they can do.
Just hold the ball out of bounds. Don't even move with it. Just get ready to celebrate.
We've already seen 1 4-point play already in this game, so anything can happen, but Ball State should not even come close.
It's a good way to get banished from Muncie, wouldn't you think?
It's a good way not to be able to return next year.
Yeah. All right, this is for the MAC championship. Paris McCurdy from Detroit Cooley High School. Ball State Ball State is going to win the MAC Conference. Reggie Adams. They'll fire up a three-pointer. It goes. There are no timeouts left. This will be a technical foul. If we're correct, this will be a technical foul.
It's going to be a technical foul on Kent State. Kent State did the only thing that they could, hit the three-point shot, went ahead and called for the extra timeout, and they'll be assessed a technical foul.
Now, it's a bench technical, so Ball State will get 2 shots and the ball. And that's what you call your ultimate desperation move. We mentioned there were no timeouts, so Ball State was not going to inbound the ball. There's 1 second left.
See Rick Majerus, he's still coaching over there.
Well, I don't blame
Coaches
him.
don't ever relax until that gun goes off.
With only 1 point margin, you want to make sure nobody does anything foolish.
Strange things can happen and have happened in the past.
Well, McCurdy makes it a 2-point lead. The big thing is they're getting the ball back. Well, not a bench technical, but they'll get 1 shot. They'll get the ball. Now, there are no timeouts unless Rick Majerus wants one, which he does, to set up the inbounds play and make sure they can get it in. But Ball State, barring an absolute miracle, is going to win the MAC Conference Championship. They only have to inbound the ball. And even if Kent State were to get their hands on the ball, they would have to get their hands on the ball, get possession, and fire up a shot.
Once again, you never know exactly how much time. There's more than 1 second on the clock, or could be less. You never know. It could be almost 2 seconds. There's enough time, but not a whole lot of time. It would take a miracle finish for Kent State to pull it out.
Let's put it this way. Either Ball State has won the MAC, or there's going to be a highlight that's going to be shown around the country about 400 times in the next 24 hours.
However, you got to give your hats off to Jim McDonald and Kent State. They made an absolute great comeback in the second half. Should have an NIT berth.
Oh, yeah, certainly so. With 20 wins and only 10 losses, including this one, a 13-5 conference record. They've got to feel very good about their season.
They've made it to the MAC Championship 2 other times, have lost by a combined total of 3 points. And this one, depending upon if it goes down by 2, that'll be 3 championship losses by a combined total of 5 points. That's tough.
As soon as the ball touches somebody from either team, this one's history. This one's over. Congratulations to Ball State, the Mid-American Conference champions. A great effort by Kent State. Both teams probably heading for the postseason. Ball State certainly is. They go to the NCAA tournament. The Cardinals move on. They'll find out tonight where they're going. Let's send it on back to Tim Brando.
All right. Thank you very much, Gary Sparber. David Letterman is a Ball State grad. I'm sure with the NCAA tournament at hand, he's saying right now, let's get on with it, shall we? And they will, into the NCAA tournament field of 64. Coming up later, the Metro and Southwest Conference Championship games. Louisville and Florida State, most of you will see. Others, perhaps, Texas and Arkansas. Split coverage beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we have the NCAA selection special with John Saunders and Dick Vitale at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And the SWAC championship game, the Southwestern Athletic Conference championship game, Texas Southern and Southern at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Then same-day coverage of the ACC title game right now at halftime. North Carolina with a 39-35 lead. So, championship week, day 9 continues here on ESPN. We'll be by at 4 o'clock. Subaru U.S. National Ski Jumping is coming up next on the Total Sports Network.
ESPN's NCAA basketball, the Mid-American Conference Championship game, was brought to you by Minolta, creators of the Maxim 3000i, the world's smallest, most affordable autofocus SLR, and by United Van Lines, where the quality shows in every move we make.
But unbowed. His prayer fell on deaf ears, and North Carolina is the Atlantic Coast Conference champion. In New York, a Georgetown freshman left Syracuse in mourning. John Thompson's Hoyas made it official as the Beast of the East. And Alabama's Keith Askins had Florida asking for trouble with a pair of 4-point plays that helped boost the Crimson Tide's win factor. Today we're going to learn who will ride the road to the Final Four. Hello again, everyone. I'm Jim Nance, along with James Brown, and together we're just minutes away right now from finding out the 64-team field for this year's NCAA Championship. Billy Packer has made his way up from Madison Square Garden. We'll have his analysis of the seedings and pairings, but first, there are some conference tournaments still going on at the moment, James.
All right, Jim, and these are conference tournament finals that will be completed after the announcement of the 64-team field. Let me bring you up to date. In the Pac-10 final, Arizona comfortably ahead of Stanford by the score of 50-32 late in the second half there. Big 8 final, boy, I tell you, Oklahoma has not showed up for this tournament at all, trailing by 16 points to Missouri, that one late in the second half as well. Southwest Conference final shows Texas and Arkansas. Arkansas ahead 72-55. Both of those teams should definitely be in the field of 64. And in the Metro finals, Louisville and Florida State. Louisville on top, 57-49. 64 teams. Who's going where? The committee in Kansas City has made its final decisions, and Tim Brandt will reveal them to us when the road to the Final Four continues right here on CBS.
The NCAA Tournament Selection Show is sponsored by Pizza Hut, official corporate sponsor of the NCAA.
Kansas City, it's been the focal point of college basketball. It's the home of the NCAA, as we are now ready to announce the 64-team field for the 1989 tournament. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brandt. For the 5th straight year, the NCAA has 64 teams in this field, so there are no first-round byes. The teams are selected both competitively and geographically, and then balanced as fairly as possible throughout the 4 regions. So we'll start in the East, and we'll tell you that these games are to be played in Providence, Rhode Island, Friday and Sunday, March 17th and 19th. The #1 seed, as expected, Georgetown. The Hoyas make their 11th straight appearance. That's second only to North Carolina. They'd love to return to Seattle, where they won the title in 1984. The Hoyas play Princeton, Pete Carroll's 7th NCAA invitation. The #8 seed is Vanderbilt, C.M. Newton's last year before he moves on as the athletic director at Kentucky. And Vandy plays Notre Dame, a team without a senior on the roster. The 5th seed, NC State, is in. It's been a tumultuous season for Jim Valvano. Controversy, snowstorms, overtimes. The ACC regular season champions play South Carolina. It's the first bid for the Gamecocks since 1974. The #4 seed is Iowa, led by B.J. Armstrong, Roy Marble, and Ed Horton, and they'll go against Rutgers. What a job by Bob Wenzel there. Continuing in the East, but moving to Greensboro, North Carolina, these games to be played Thursday and Saturday, March 16th and 18th. Kansas State, the 19th trip to the NCAA tournament, the most among Big 8 schools, and they'll play Minnesota. Stanford gets the #3 bid. It's the first bid since 1942 for the Cardinal, the only unbeaten team in the history of NCAA tournament play. The Cardinal, 3-0. They won the national championship and have not been back since '42. Siena hasn't played in front of fans in a month. The Measle team, the 14th seed. West Virginia had a 22-game win streak earlier this year. The Mountaineers play Tennessee, and it's Tennessee's first invitation since 1983. Continuing in the East region, the #2 seed is Duke. These games in Greensboro. Duke is led by Danny Ferry. Staying close to home, the Blue Devils play South Carolina State, the #15 seed. Now in the West region, Boise, Idaho. These games Thursday and Saturday, March 16th and 18th. And the #1 seed, Arizona, the #1 team in the nation, led by Sean Elliott. The Wildcats go against Robert Morris. St. Mary's of California make their first appearance since 1959 as the #8 seed. They'll go against the Clemson Tigers out of the Atlantic Coast Conference. That's the 5th straight postseason tournament for Cliff Ellis. DePaul plays Memphis State. That game Thursday night. You can watch it at 11:30 Eastern Time right here on CBS. Memphis State, DePaul. And the Runnin' Rebels of UNLV, 7 in a row for the Runnin' Rebels in the NCAA tournament, go against Idaho. Idaho is 25-5 from the Big Sky Conference. These games to be played in Tucson, Arizona now, staying in the West. Friday, March 17th and Sunday, March 19th. Oregon State, Coach Ralph Miller's final season, will go against Evansville. Head coach Jim Cruz played on that Indiana team in 1976 that won the title. Seton Hall, congratulations to P.J. Carlissimo back in the tournament, but P.J. has to go back out west for the 2nd year in a row. He'll play Southwestern Missouri State. LSU goes against Texas El Paso. They'll play Friday night, 11:30. You can watch that game also here on CBS, beginning at 11:30 Eastern Time. And staying in the West, the #2 seed is Indiana. These games in Tucson now. A marquee team in Tucson to replace the Arizona Wildcats, which cannot play on their home court. They'll go against George Mason, the Patriots' first bid ever to the tournament. And you watch out for Kenny Sanders, 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds for the George Mason Patriots. So we're halfway through the process. 32 teams out of the 64-team field. If your team has not been mentioned yet, then stay with us, because when we come back, we've got the Midwest and the Southeast. We're halfway through the process. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Hyatt Regency Hotel. This is our studio headquarters where the selection process has been taking place this entire weekend. And we've announced now 32 of the 64 teams. So we'll go back to the boards and we'll start in the Midwest region. The Midwest games will be played Thursday and Saturday, March 16th and 18th in Indianapolis, Indiana. The #1 seed there is Illinois, 19-0 when Kendall Gill is in the lineup. Illinois will play McNeese State. The Cowboys, that's their first bid ever. The #8 seed is Pittsburgh. The Panthers beat 4 top 10 teams this year, and they'll play Ball State, which is 27-2. That's the best record in the entire NCAA. Arkansas, Nolan Richardson still looking for his first tournament win ever. He's 0-4 in the NCAA tournament, the #5 seed, and will play Loyola Marymount, the highest scoring team in the nation. Louisville lost 5 of their last 10 games. Unusual for Denny Crum's team. They're usually peaking at this time of the year, tournament time. Louisville will go against Arkansas Little Rock, and this is the second appearance in 4 years for Arkansas Little Rock. Still in the Midwest, moving to Dallas. These games to be played Friday and Sunday, March 17th and 19th. Georgia Tech from the Atlantic Coast Conference, the 6th seed, will play Texas, the Longhorns' first bid since 1979. Missouri, head coach Norm Stewart will not be back for the tournament. They're 6-4 under Rich Daly. But they are the #3 seed and will go against Creighton. The Blue Jays have won 15 of the last 19 games. The Florida Gators won the SEC title for the first time in 55 years. Norm Sloan returns to the NCAA tournament for the 3rd straight year. Colorado playing State from the Western Athletic Conference. Staying in the Midwest in Dallas, again these games Friday and Saturday. The 2nd seed is Syracuse. This is Jim Boeheim's 12th appearance. The Orangemen, which lost to Georgetown in the Big East title game this afternoon, plays Bucknell. Bucknell is out of the East Coast Conference. Moving to the Southeast region, these games to be played Thursday and Saturday, March 16th and 18th in Nashville, Tennessee. Oklahoma. It's a surprise in that the Sooners did not stay close to home. People had anticipated Oklahoma would play in Dallas. Not the case. #1 seed in the Southeast region to be played in Nashville and will go against East Tennessee State. First bid since 1968. The LaSalle Explorers will play Louisiana Tech, the #8 and 9 seeds. The University of Virginia Cavaliers, with Terry Holland in and out of the hospital this year, went to the Final Four in 1984, the last time it was held in Seattle. They hope to get there again to Seattle again this year. We'll go against Providence. Congratulations to Rick Barnes, his first appearance into the NCAA tournament. Providence started 13-0 this year. Florida State is in. The Seminoles will go against Middle Tennessee State. Moving to Atlanta, Friday and Sunday, March 17th and 19th at the Omni. The Alabama Crimson Tide will go against South Alabama. A lot of home fans at that game. The University of Michigan playing Xavier of Ohio, the #14 seed. The UCLA Bruins, many thought on the fence, in as the 7th seed and will go against Iowa State. And the #2 seed is North Carolina against the winner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference title game. That'll be played tonight between Texas Southern and Southern University. So it's an either-or situation. So looking at the board, some quick thoughts. The defending national champion, Kansas, on probation, unable to defend its title. And it's the first tournament in 10 years that the Kentucky University, has not been in the field. So there you have it, the 64 teams for the 1989 tournament. When we come back, we'll have Cedric Dempsey with us, who is the chairperson of the men's selection committee. He'll join us. We'll answer all the questions that you may have. Right now, let's go back to New York and Jim Nance. Jim? Tim, thank you. Folks, we're also going to go right through the brackets one more time so you have a chance to write them all down. We'll also talk about the pairings with our college basketball expert, Billy Packers. We continue on the road to the Final Four.